10:15, presentation by Nevada Department of Transportation regarding the highway construction mess on State Route 160 from Clark County line extending 28 miles east towards Las Vegas. I can hear the explosions from here.
My name's Don Christensen. I'm the resident engineer for this construction project, and Mario Gomez is also with me. He's the assistant district engineer over construction for District 1 for NDOT. So this project runs from approximately 5 miles west of Blue Diamond Road to about a mile west of the Nye County, Clark County line. And so there's actually two projects that are combined into one contract, and both of them will be done concurrently. The total cost of this contract is $59 million, and it's roughly 2 years in duration. We started in September of 2018 and will extend into July of 2020. The total length of the work is 27.5 miles. And so there's two kind of distinct parts of this project, and I'll call them, just for clarity, one of them is what I call the mountainous area, which is over the through the mountainous area past Mountain Springs and down to the other side. And then the other one is that I call the roadbed modification area, is basically where the highways divide heading towards Pahrump, and then extending from there all the way for 22 miles, a little bit past the Nye County line. So first off, in the mountainous area, this will be 2 years of duration on this work, and it's mainly it's a complete rebuild of the highway. And the purpose is to improve safety, efficiency, and access for the residents and for commuters. This part of this highway has been known to have a lot of accidents, including a lot of fatal accidents. So this is a needed project, and it'll include basically realigning the curves, dividing the two directions with a barrier rail, and basically a lot of other safety upgrades to bring it up to current standards. So you can see in the diagram kind of a cross-section of what the new highway will be, and it also allows for passing of slow vehicles up in the upgrades and that sort of thing. Also, part of the work will be in the Mountain Springs community itself. We'll be adding these frontage roads to kind of collect the resident traffic and bring them into the highway at selected points. And there are some other design features there to improve the safety of that area. The other thing that this project will have a wildlife exclusion fencing, and there'll be an undercrossing bridge to keep the desert bighorn sheep, the burros, deer, and elk from being hit, and also to protect them from being killed. So there will be through the mountainous area, there will be the wildlife exclusion fencing, except when you get to the Mountain Springs area, then it's not there anymore, and it's not on the other part. There will also be a fair amount of landscape upgrades, which you can see some examples on the slide of some of the landscaping that will take place. There's also, we did salvage about more than 1,700 cactuses and yuccas that are going to be transplanted into the project, and the trees that are being removed, we're going to bring back, or we're going to plant over 700 juniper and mountain mahogany and those kind of trees, although they're just little ones, so it'll take a while to really see them growing. So now the other area, the roadbed modification area, that's where it's divided now. That is going to be about roughly starting this month and then going for about 11 months. We're hoping it'll be done by then. It'll be mainly on the eastbound pavement. The westbound is in good condition. There's no work planned there. The eastbound paving is failing, and you may have noticed those that drive it, that the bad cracks and that it was in danger of a bad failure, and so that's why we're combining these two projects and doing them at the same time, because it's very much needed. That road will be repaired full depth, doing a roadbed modification. And so what a roadbed modification includes is basically pulverize the existing pavement 12 inches deep, add cement, and then compact it to make an 8-inch thick stabilized base. And then we'll put back 6 inches of new asphalt surfacing and 3/4 inches of open graded surface course. It's not really, it's basically a paving upgrade. It's not really changing the alignment or really much of any of the safety features. It's just rehabbing the pavement for that 22 miles. So now that's basically the scope of what's going to be done. What I wanted to talk about is the impacts to the traveling public during construction. So in the mountainous area, right now, lanes are restricted to one lane in each direction. The 2 lanes are separated by barrels. There is temporary barrier rail, concrete barrier rail, separating the travel lanes from the work zones. The speed limit right now is 35 miles an hour in the Mountain Springs area, 45 miles an hour down on the eastern part of the job. In fact, the current speed limit was, before this project, was 55. In the Mountain Springs area will be reduced to 45 permanently. So the possible delays include the contractor is allowed to stop traffic for 20 minutes at one time, and with a 30-minute total delay getting through the work zone. That could happen due to flaggers or pilot car. The one exception is during blasting. The blasting delays can be longer, up to 2 hours, and there could be up to 2 blasts per day, although it's not normally like that. I'll explain that a little bit more later in the next slide. There are also from time to time, pilot car operations, which will, sometimes you have to wait for a turn to go through the work zone following a pilot car. That will normally be limited to 20 minutes of stop traffic with a 30-minute total delay. For the blasting, normally the blasting will be in normal conditions 2, maybe 3 times per week, and normally we've been having them always at 12:45 p.m. And we have been spreading the word through the message boards along the highway, the DMI signs, and also through our community outreach from our public information officers, spreading the word on website, and we spread the word to, as wide as we can each time. But anyway, so you may have, those of you that drive it may have noticed that. Most of the closures that we've had to date have been about a half an hour, but some are longer, and it could take as much as 2 hours, maybe even more. If a lot of rock gets on the road, it's just however long it takes to clean it off and get the road reopened. We'll be continuing to blast from now until about March, 2, maybe 3 times a week, possibly even more. It's up to the contractor. He's allowed to blast every day if he wants, but he's been going 2 to 3 days per week. After, they'll be pretty much done with that phase roughly in March, and then there'll be a break for several months, and then we'll start blasting again for the next phase later in the year. For what we call the roadbed modification area, the impacts to the public will be that road. It's about 22 miles, so we'll be dividing it into 3 phases, 7 to 8 miles each phase. And during that phase, the road, all of the traffic will be shifted to the westbound lanes, 1 lane in each direction. And while the work is being done on the eastbound lanes for that same 7 to 8 mile section, there'll be a crossover to get the traffic across. Each phase will probably be 3 to 4 months long, and as I said, all of that traffic will be on the westbound lanes. On those lanes, the traffic will be divided by a temporary barrier rail, and the speed is reduced to 55 miles an hour from the current 70.